to note that if a school district is succeeding, and this is a major point of his legislative package, the state will return local control to that school district for 3 years. I thought that sounded great. But then I found a website that detailed in Arkansas, years ago, that Governor Huckabee had these same initiatives that he crammed down the throats of his constituents. And while everyone was excited that local control got returned, the standards just kept changing. They just kept changing. And one misstep by any school district in any way gave the state the option to completely take over that school district and never give it back. So it's a bait and switch. Excuse me. And if we need any convincing that our schools are to be turned into the union's playgrounds, I have another bill that has been proposed and is highly touted. For the community and technical colleges, there is a board that governs them. When someone leaves their position, this bill creates a nominating board. It's made up of all of the presidents of the different colleges, and that makes sense. But they decided it was best if they included one more member. And that member, if this passes by statute, will be a representative of the AFL-CIO. So it kind of all makes sense of why our schools aren't just regulated by the Department of Education, they're also regulated by the Department of Labor. Labor decides the state's needs, and the Department of Education finds a way to fill them at our children's expense. So, when Andy Stern smiles and says, "Workers of the world unite," is not just a slogan anymore, he knew more than we did. I was kind of amused when he said it, but I'm not amused anymore because I see that he's right. But the good thing that is touted about this new system that we have is that all children will succeed, all children will graduate. Remember, education for all. The way that's accomplished is with those same national standards. National standards are supposed to be set according to, you look over the whole expanse of all the kids across the nation who attend school. And because we have to include people with special needs, that we all thought was a great idea, we thought it was for their benefit, in regular classes, the national standards have to be set below that level so that every child in the classroom can pass, every child can graduate, and after all, they don't seem to feel that we need a whole lot of education for the union jobs that they have waiting for us. Bless you. Now that's all the bad news. Karen gets to deliver the good news. The good news is that the framework, because we're always behind, the framework in our state is only now being put into fifth gear through this legislative session. I've been trying real hard and running real fast like a hamster in a wheel, so that's where everyone can be helpful. We need to spread the word so that we can start screaming. We can start being effective, and we can start taking this system down. And Karen will explain how some ideas we had. Thank you.
Quite chilling, nauseating, disgusting. But basically that's what's been happening, not just with education, but basically throughout all levels of government, is that they're taking our voices away. And I think we're all sitting back thinking we're going to get them back at election time. But that's not really going to happen. Because what they're doing is they're taking the voice from the people. They're taking that and they're putting in committees, boards, all these other little cliques, I guess you could say, that are responsible now for certain portions of our legislation. Like for education, we have committees and boards that are authorized to handle anything pertaining to education. So there's no vote anymore. And through legislation, they're defining who has to be on these boards and committees. And if you look at the health care bill, it's the same way in that bill as well. The nonprofits that are going to be controlling health care through these committees and boards that are all appointed, and they name certain people that have to be on these boards and committees, certain representatives. Some of them will start off being elected, like the Bessie Board, but then they'll take it back, and they'll go with renaming, like certain nonprofits have to be on, certain members of unions have to be represented on these boards. And so these are the people that will have the final authorization for making decisions. And that's who's making the education decisions right now. They're not being made in the legislation. There are some that that's what we're trying to do, is start to focus on legislation. I don't feel like we need to wait till elections. This legislation committee, I understand that you all have a legislation committee. It is the most vital part of this Tea Party organization. I don't think that as a group we are taking advantage of the opportunity and the voice that we have. We have got to start coming together statewide, and we have got to get on top of what they are doing and what they are passing, because they're doing it day by day, piece by piece. They're giving you a little bitty piece in a piece of legislation that's just enough that they can paint this picture so pretty, or it's just a little bit of the full picture so that you don't get the full picture of what they're trying to pass. So what we would like to do is, we have volunteers that are coming forward from our Tea Party organizations, and would like to work with volunteers from your group to watch legislation. We would basically like to call ourselves committee oversight panels, or COPs, We really need some COPs now, because basically in committee, I think one of your board members had mentioned that earlier, is where you can have your voice heard. And so if we have a representative at every committee meeting questioning what they're doing, that's really where we need to be. And I know it sounds like a lot of work, but I don't know about you. I think freedom for me is kind of worth working for, I mean, we have to come together some kind of way, and to me, this is the best way that we can do it. So I was asking, basically if we can get volunteers. Now, we have a Facebook page that we just put together, EdWatch LA, where we're going to be posting as much of the stuff that's going on with education. Yeah, EdWatch, EdWatch LA. It's on Facebook. We just put it together today. So there's not anything on it except for the meeting that we're here tonight.
I'm going to link to it on our Facebook.
Okay, awesome. And basically what we're thinking is that we would like to do is get possibly representatives for every committee that they have. We need a committee to match their committee, and sit in on those committee meetings and have them explain to us, I don't care how stupid I sound or look, but you can explain to me how this bill is constitutional and why not. I'd like to know. And, I just think that that's how our voices can be heard. And if we do that now and we do it before elections, they will know where we stand. And they will come to us and tell us how they fit into our plans. We don't have to seek them out and figure out who we're going to vote for, because we'll already know. Because we'll be there watching them. And these committee meetings are always posted too. They're on the internet. You can watch them sit there and be more powerful than all of us and be arrogant and get their voices heard and their stuff passed, and there's nobody sitting there opposing it. No one is opposing it.